What's up, welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Adolescence, the British crime drama miniseries out now on Netflix, 4 episodes in total. Adolescence comes from prolific British writer Jack Thorne and also Stephen Graham, who stars as the father of a 13-year-old boy accused of murder. Adolescence really came out of nowhere, I think, for most people, and has been quite the story because I think there's so much to get into here, of course, a series that I really loved. Adolescence has ratcheted up to #1 on Netflix's chart, which I think is really impressive given the really serious subject matter at the core of this series. It's actually a great win for Netflix all around because it's both popular and high quality. We don't often say that about the most popular things on Netflix. Adolescence also stands out because Philip Berrettini directed this series in a series of one-shot takes for each episode. And this is true oneers every time. They did not stitch and make fake oneers, as alluded to in episode 2 of Apple's The Studio very recently. This is real one-take stuff, and it actually adds something substantial to the storytelling in the show. So I'm going to jump into everything about Adolescence, spoiling really what it's about and how it surprises and really nails what it's going for in a truly unexpected way. Netflix's Adolescence is an unexpected television masterpiece. When watching a miniseries about a 13-year-old boy accused of murder, you are naturally inclined to watch this show expecting for some other shoe to drop, expecting some twist, some revelation. You expect it to be about plot. Adolescence stands out because this show is so packed with rich thematic material in only 4 hours. Each episode makes such a significant impact that by the time you complete this series, any plot revelations and plot progression is so beyond the point of this show. By no means is it a light watch, but man was I impressed with how much this show was able to communicate. The continuous one-take filmmaking also really adds to this because none of the actors ever get to hide. You are always with these characters as they are dealing with significant and multi-layered emotions. Unfortunately, it's also a show that's coming at a really fitting time. Newcomer Owen Cooper plays the accused, and my god, is this a out-of-nowhere brilliant performance. Episode 3 in particular is on the shortlist for the best episodes of the year, and Adolescence is without a question going to be one of the best shows of 2025. You know, from the very beginning when you watch the show, the first episode regards the arrest, right? And we start with the perspective of the police officers who go in the morning and arrest young Jamie Miller and accuse him of murdering a classmate. And you know, the way they're talking to him, treating him with some respect, treating him like the kid that he is, and you're watching the kind of sheer audaciousness of the cops knocking a door down at 6 a.m. and taking a kid away. You're trained to watch it as, oh, like, what's the twist? What's happening, right? Like, what was he framed? What actually happened? Like, what is going on here, right? And you're just naturally inclined to side with him, you know, the accused, and the family that's so taken aback, not expecting anything like this to happen to the son that they've by all means understood to be a good kid. And as you go through, and again, the oneer is so effective right away because we get taken to the police station, we watch all the processing, and you see it as both routine, but also something that's disliked in the police station on the account of it being a kid and not an adult, would-be criminal. And the progression of that episode, I think, is so masterful. And then the way it ends is like the ultimate mic drop, because you watch the CCTV video and we understand that Jamie Miller stabbed the girl that died. Like, there is no ambiguity. He did kill her. And that's following, I think, a really great interrogation scene on the point of the police where they're questioning a kid who they know already did it because they have a mountain of evidence, even if they don't have a murder weapon. And then you watch the incredulity of his dad, played by Stephen Graham, who gets to be in there because he's a juvenile. And man, I mean, it's just such a knockout, right? And I think from there, you're like watching Adolescence, okay, wow, 13-year-old murderer, that's what this is going to be about, right? Maybe it'll have a police procedural type, lawyer crime drama vibe to it, right? We get introduced to the lawyer character, we already spend some time with those cops, what's going on, right? And then episode 2, again, fucking great episode. Like it takes us to somewhere completely different. We're with the cops again, and these cops are played by Ashley Walters and Faye Marsay from Andor Game of Thrones fame, and they're going to Jamie's school because they're trying to determine a motive, like why did he kill this girl, and also maybe trying to find a murder weapon because they don't have one. And what again what that episode ends up being about, it's not about the plot, it's not about them finding the murder weapon. It's about like I think it's just again so rich. We watch this public school that's so clearly understaffed, and we see these dynamics between these kids and how well and poorly they treat each other, right? And we see the cops in real time learn about the whole social media bullying apparatus and how foreign it is to many adults. Incredible episode once again, just because again like it's focusing on something so much more higher level than just this one crime. And again, as we're starting to delve deeper into what was going on, we learned that this was an instance of bullying where Jamie had been being bullied by the girl that he ends up killing. And specifically the bullying was accusing him of being an incel basically, which is so wild because again you're talking about a 13-year-old, right? And they're already like that deep into the abuse and the sense of self-pride or lack thereof, right? And then you get to episode 3, and again it's completely different. We never see the cops again. Episode 3, we go to the detention center where Jamie is being held. Jamie's in this detention center and he's having these one-on-ones with Brienne, played by Erin Doherty of The Crown fame, and she is a like psychologist, independent psychologist, but appointed by the court, by the justice system, to kind of evaluate Jamie's state, you could say. And this is a absolute tour de force episode. I think both Owen Cooper and Erin Doherty are absolutely fantastic in this, and I mean it is terrifying stuff, right? Because you see Brienne realize over the course of this very long session, it wasn't their first one at that she's talking to someone who's still clearly a child, right? Like has an undeveloped brain, clearly. Like there's still so many juvenile aspects of him. And then he has these absolutely terrifying instances of rage and that he can't control. And also has a complete like un not unrealistic, but like just he has like this delusion about what he's done, the fact that he's murdered someone and his life is over. Like he just doesn't really understand what he has done, despite having such a vicious emotional response, to the bullying, right? And the show has been progressing to this through each episode, where the and I think the main takeaways of this, which are concluded a bit in the fourth episode, regarding what the internet does to a lot of young boys, in terms of warping their perception of things, many of those things including masculinity, gender relations, what you are and aren't entitled to, and things of that nature. They directly reference the Manosphere and Andrew Tate in this series. Um, it is haunting stuff, and unfortunately, it's incredibly prescient and relevant material, as this type of stuff and crimes related to this type of thing are increasing worldwide. I mean, it's wild to see so quickly the UK has decided to show at least parts of this series in school for this very reason. It's wild stuff. In episode 3, I think again like it's the performance that you get from Owen Cooper as he turns on a dime and has clear like psychopathic behavior and such anger, such craze, such like true like depth to his emotion, despite also being completely like unaware of what's truly going on. And you see Brienne's revelations of what's going on and what she's really dealing with over the course of that hour. You see her take breaks and kind of be overwhelmed about what's happening and get startled at times by the outbursts of anger and things like that. And I think it's wild. It's a wild episode, And then you got episode 4, which again completely different. This time we're with the rest of Jamie's family. Stephen Graham, of course, is the dad. The mom is Christine Tremarco, and the older sister is played by, I believe, a newcomer, Emily Pease. And they're just trying to, go about their day, move on with their lives. It's the dad's birthday, They seem to be having a good day. Sister seems to be handling things as well as she can, with a clear acknowledgement that she's the older sister of a murderer. But, they're doing okay. And then, they go outside. The family van has been vandalized, and they decide, well, we better go get that taken care of. And they're going to drive down together to like a local like Home Depot store stand-in, Wainwright it's called. And the good day just seems to break down. And then I think the episode really crescendos when they get back home, especially where you have the parents talking to each other about like what went wrong, what did they do wrong as the parents of the murderer, right? The fallacy of thinking their son's doing okay and he's safe because he's at home all the time, at home on his computer, staying up late at night, right, on the internet, things like that. And they look at their older daughter who seems to be successful and doing well in many regards, and they see how they could have done so right there, and then clearly not done enough with their youngest. And then I think the takeaway is that, well, is that even true? Is it actually just a big crapshoot? Or is the world changing so fast that it's really hard to manage and protect, you know, vulnerable people from becoming something like this? I mean, during the episode, you get the phone call where Jamie calls and tells his dad that he's decided to plead guilty, and like that's like the closest thing you get to like what's going on, right? Like watching the show, would you love to like read or hear about Brienie's report, her takeaways from episode 3, what her all her interviews? Of course, right? Because it's fascinating, because these characters are so rich, the themes are so impressive. That's not what the show's about, right? Do we go to the sentencing? Of course not. Nope. The episode does not have any interest in that. The show does not have any interest in that because the show is so thematically above the fold when it comes to the actual plot. I mean, I'm just so impressed with this, for a show that's so heavy, so tough to sit with because it's so dark. And yet, I mean, I think it just is a complete masterpiece. And again, like the cliche of British television being better, often because it has more brevity. I mean, goddamn, this is 4 episodes, 4 hours of adolescence, and how much is in there in terms of character growth, character dynamics, impeccable writing, amazing craft with like really, I think, impactful one take filmmaking style, out of nowhere acting revelation on the part of Owen Cooper, and then loads of relevant commentary about gender relations, uh, serving our youth, the public education, uh, parenting in the new age. The list goes on. I mean, what a masterpiece, right? I mean, given that it's a Netflix show, right? The budget will be there. I mean, this is the fucking front runner of front runners for best limited series at the Emmys this year, right? I mean, if Baby Reindeer's gonna clean up, I mean, this is a show that's a phenomenon on par with Baby Reindeer, but is so much more impressive creatively and thematically. It's gonna be on my top 10 shows at the end of the year. It's really just a question of how high. We'll see about that at the end of the year. Let me know though, what did you think of Adolescence? Are you as knocked out and surprised by what this show is and isn't as I am? Let me know what most stood out to you. And for more TV reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.